stay in good conversation, you gotta tune in to Coffee and Conversation with Collette. That's me. Thursday mornings from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on the only station, WHPR TV 33. See you soon. Rise and shine up and at 'em. It's an amazing Friday to you.
This
You are
conference is being
officially
recorded.
tuned
All
in to Coffee
participants
and
are on hold.
Conversation with Collette. I am Collette. You know I do my curtsy. I'm going to do better at the curtsy because actually the hands out isn't the curtsy. It's the pulling, extending the dress to do the curtsy. You are you? Is that too old? Am I dating myself with that? Whatever it looks like. Great morning to you. It just shows reverence. Just so happy that we are together, having that time together, being able to do our thing together, having great conversations that we do, staying in great company like we do on the every Thursday and especially Friday, because we have him in the building, the Son of Man in the building, New Nation of Islam. After I give my little intro, then I always look forward to what he's going to bring us. And today I think it's just going to be much more spectacular than normal. Did you see how we're playing on words? He's discussed with us the importance of words and wordsmithing and what we put out into the universe. So it is my goal today to have a conversation that is going to be much more spectacular than normal. In the words of our president, Trump, it's bigly, you know. So we can make up words too. So his conversation is that it's bigly. Ours is going to be much more spectacular. I want to let you know, I want to give just a great morning to T Grizzly. He's a up and coming Detroit artist, just an amazing young man. From what I've seen, haven't met him, came from some adversity and is really putting his mark. And he is a community steward. He's giving back to young people. He's giving them money for their senior dues so that they can complete the process through high school. And more importantly, he has this song called No Effort. I can do it with no effort. And so I just want us to know, coming off of our conversations yesterday, we talked about what? You all recall what we talked about? The whole conversation yesterday was about gentrification. We talked about the use of the word displacement, or is it integration, or is it urban renewal? And however it looks, where are we in the process? I talked about the return on investment, the ROI, because public dollars are being used. Those are taxpayers' dollars to fund the development of these huge stadiums downtown that's supposed to bring in all this revenue into the city, but the citizens aren't getting a ROI, return on investment. And that's the way I wanted you to look at it. Whether you chose to engage in that experience, in going down to the games, in what downtown looks like, you should expect a return on your investment. One of the callers so eloquently stated about how this looked a couple years back. You all recall 10 or 15 years or so with the Pontiac Silverdome. And now look at it. It's in total disrepair, about to be torn down. And what is the return for the people whose tax dollars were taken to build that space, and now it's a devastation to the community. So I thought about continuing that in today, and then it dawned on me that June is Men's Health Month. Did you all know that? So many times we spend talking about women and families, and of course, in the onset of how the nation identifies Dad's Day, Father's Day coming up this weekend, and people kind of push men to the side. Folks just push them to the side, and I don't know, in your minds, perhaps you decide what a dad is good for in the physical sense, and then we have a spiritual sense, and then we have the literal sense. And so we're going to be able to delve into that with the Son of Man. And in the midst of identifying that June is Black Men's or Men's Health Month, I wanted to make it specific to Black men and the importance of us being healthy, and healthy in all aspects of our life, of physical health and a mental health and a spiritual health. That's important. And so many of us don't want to have those conversations because I don't know if we are just taught that it's not manly to, say that you hurt. It's not manly to say, I believe I need to go to the doctor. I need to have certain checkups. I need to get some type of assistance. And then are we astute enough to realize the spirit man, the inner man? What does that look like in how we develop? And I could only ask the questions because I'm a woman. And so, how fitting is it then to be able to know that the majority of you all who are kind enough to call in are men? And then on today, I was going to have the Son of Man. So, didn't you think that that made for a great collaborative to be able to give us information? What it's like to be a black man in America. Before I ask Son of Man to come on board to engage in this conversation this morning, you know I like quotes. You all know that, right? So I want to give a quote. I have several quotes actually today. So I'm going to throw those in, sprinkle those in a little bit. But I want to give you this one. And this was from H. Rap Brown. I don't know if a lot of people are familiar with H. Rap Brown, but if you aren't, H. Rap Brown's birth name is Jamil Abdullah Al Amin, and he was born Herbert Gerald Brown in October of the 4th of October 1943. He's also known as H. Rap Brown. He's the fifth chairman of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. Remember that's called SNCC. If you all don't remember that. Remember that acronym? SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, in the 1960s. And his quote is, "Being a man is a continuing battle for one's life. One loses a bit of manhood with every stale compromise to the authority of any power in which one does not believe." Let me give that to you again. Being a man is a continuing battle for one's life. One loses a bit of manhood with every stale compromise to the authority of any power in which one does not believe. So, Son of Man, great morning to you.
Good morning.
Coming off of our title for today, I thought it was only fitting since, of course, you are a man that wears many hats, that embodies many things to many people. And I just said, wow, if anyone could set the tone for us this morning to talk about the importance of men's health mentally, spiritually, physically, and what that looks like, and then just the bigger construct of being a black man in America, it was you. Is that too much to put on you?
No,
I didn't
uh,
think so.
I want to say, yes, I'm familiar with H. Rap Brown.
Okay.
He was also, with what a lot of people may not know, he also was a part of the Black Panthers when they first started.
Okay. Yes. Great point.
Him and Huey Newton.
Yes.
So before he founded SNCC.
Yes.
Um, I want to say that to be a black man in America, when you really, and I'm not saying this simply because I'm a Muslim.
Okay.
I'm saying this because it is true that before the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, there were no black men in America.
Mm-hmm.
There were Negro men. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, every black man in America now has been actually reborn. If he's really a black man,
Okay.
he's been reborn because we were made and Negroes
Yes.
by white people. And if you go back and look at the Red Tails or the Tuskegee Airmen, they done named it so many different names
Yes.
and got different characters acting it. But if you look at when they went into that bar and the white airmen, they asked them, they said, "Look, we call y'all colored, and what do y'all want to be called?" And they all said in unison, "Negro." And that's, I remember when I used to want to be called Negro. I mean, don't call me black, and you used to get in trouble, get in a fight. If you wanted to start a fight, call somebody black.
Right.
And so before I was able to look at black as something to identify with, that that didn't happen until after I heard the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Okay.
And it's like people lift up Malcolm and lift up all these Minister Farrakhan and all the rest of it. But the truth of the matter is, you got one man to thank for us walking around here now, recognizing that we are Asiatic black men,
Okay.
and that is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, he's the one that restored to us the knowledge of who we are. And even right now, people are still trying to change that, referring to us as African Americans, and I mean, we're not African Americans. We are Asiatic black people.
Okay.
That is our true identity, because the continent of Africa was only called that by the conqueror.
Right.
The America just got that name approximately. In the history book, the white man taught us that it was named after a Spaniard by the name of Amerigo Vespucci. I learned that in elementary school. So, so how can I be an African American when I existed before this continent was called America?
Yes.
And before Africa was called Africa?
Yes.
I remember a long time ago, Minister Farrakhan, I think it was back in the 80s, Minister Farrakhan did a nice lecture on telling our people, bringing that point home, that, look, how in the world are you calling yourself an African American and you existed before that name was put on that continent?
Yes.
So, your name don't change with the name of a continent. We are.
Right.
That AB on the front of Aboriginal, it means Asiatic Black Original People, which means we are the original people of the earth.
Yes.
Asia means earth. We are the original people of the earth, and we are the black man. But we have two histories.
Yes.
One before slavery, before slavery and after slavery, and then one during slavery.
Yes.
And with us, we were formed from the dust of the black people who was brought here. And when I say dust, I mean they were reduced to their lowest level. And that was to be in servitude. Instead of to God, we were in servitude to white people. We feared white people as most people fear God.
Yes.
We feared white people. Our parents used to teach us to go out, and they would warn, now my mother never taught me this, not verbally. Neither did my father. But if you study our history, those who grew up in the South, you will find that they will tell you that their parents taught them. Now, don't you go out there looking up in white people's eyes.
That's right.
And when they walk by, you look down.
Yes.
And they even used to have us get off the sidewalk when they come, when a woman come walking or whatever, or when they come walking, just depending on where you were.
Right.
And we were never allowed to take on the attributes of men. And they referred to us as boy and girl. Now, this is a history that I don't have to really teach you, because all of us know it.
Right.
We just don't like to talk about it because we didn't understand it.
Yes.
But why do you think the scripture refers to? You've been thinking the children of Israel was talking about these white people. No. It was talking about us who had been made, who had been, a child's mind had been put into us by Israel. And that's what made us able to serve them for 400 years, because we have had the mind of children and they were the adults. And we feared them like a child fears his parent, and like grown people fear God.
Yes.
And so this is what the Caucasian people did to us. But just like when I grew up in the church, my mother raised me from the time I was a little boy. I mean, even when I was in her womb, she told me she used to be studying the Bible and everything. So that's why I know the Bible so well.
Okay.
But I not just from the womb, but from the time I could walk, I was always at church with my mother. All of us were. We were made to go to church.
Okay.
But she told me she really converted after she got pregnant with me. And so when I got old enough, because all of us know the history of us.
Yes.
When you little, at least those who are say over 64 years old, when you're little, every Sunday you go to church.
Yeah.
Now, most people just went on Sunday, but my mother was so dedicated. We had to go to Young People's Willing Workers. That's YPWW. Choir rehearsal.
Right.
Because most of us could sing, and the Vacation Bible School.
Yes.
Had to go to that.
Yes.
And then they sent me to school that wasn't no Catholic school. We didn't go to Catholic school. We wasn't Catholic. But in Catholic school, at least you go into a school that agrees with what you're being taught in church.
Right.
But I went to a school where everything was just the opposite of church. So I was to the point where, well, good gracious, you go and learn one thing in church, and then you got to go to school and got to learn how to fight.
Right.
And so,
Right.
I wasn't thinking like that, but I had to be more than one character.
Yes.
So, and so consequently, we were hypocrites in church because we'd be sitting up there talking about turning the other cheek, and then just got in a fight
Right.
the other day. But anyway, once I got out of my adolescence into teenage,
Okay.
I started thinking that, man, I'll be glad when I grow up. That's one of our favorite things. I'll be glad when I grow up, so I ain't going back to. I'm gonna stop going to church.
Right.
And when I got old enough to make my own choice, I stopped going. And I lost interest in church.
Okay.
Religion, period.
Okay.
Only time I'd go to church was if some girl I was liking was going there, and she going to church.
Right.
Asked me to go with her. I'll go. And I sit there. But, I had lost interest.
Okay.
Then when I turned 18, I joined the Marine Corps.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you about my march toward manhood.
Yes.
They say the Marine Corps builds men. Okay, I joined the Marine Corps. And that's where I, began, I was kind of becoming black conscious because if you notice, the late 60s, from the middle to late 60s was when black consciousness, all them black conscious songs and everything was playing. All the brothers was going around throwing up the power sign. And Black Power, the Black Panthers was out there. The Black Panthers didn't start off carrying guns. They started off as brothers serving breakfast to children in wives.
That's right.
And, then the infiltrators that were sent in there began to, the government agents.
Mm-hmm.
They the ones that started introducing the idea to carry guns and all of that kind of thing.
Yes.
And that's when they started killing them and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But anyway, I never was attracted to that because, first of all, my parents well, I wasn't old enough to just go and join whatever I wanted. I would have needed my parents' permission, and they weren't gonna give it.
Okay.
And uh, you know, gangs didn't exist like they do now. It was Slauson and Watts and all that. That was just turf stuff.
Okay.
But anyway, um, when I joined the Marines and had my 19th birthday in Vietnam, then I had became my own kind of militant myself.
Okay.
It wasn't about hating white people and all that old stuff. I told everybody, I pick my friends. Don't nobody pick my friends for me.
Right.
And so I got along with whoever, whoever I hung out with,
Mhm.
I could get along with.
Okay.
If I couldn't get along with them, I just shied away from them.
Okay.
And so the after the tour in Nam and getting back to the States, then I met a brother who took me to this temple.
Okay.
After I got out of the Marine Corps, um, I went to the temple, and for the first time, religion made sense to me
Ah.
as I was listening to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Now, son of man, if I
And
can ask you right to that point, had you delineate religion, but was there something with God too, or had up until that time was it always just religion, like the
uh,
Bible, or were you engaged to know God and then religion?
well, I always believed that there was that, that was in me. Nobody could take that out of me.
Okay.
I understand something. I never talked against people's religion.
Okay.
I just wasn't interested no more
Okay.
because I saw too much hypocrisy,
Ah.
and I just wasn't gonna go to church like I see so many people doing. They go to church and do all that shouting,
Mhm.
and these same people be drinking beer with me during the week and all that kind of stuff. And then get up on Sunday talking about they shout, talking about they saved and sanctified and stuff. And I just couldn't do that.
Okay.
And I saw preachers doing things that just didn't make no sense.
Okay.
And I saw, for instance, the preacher at our church. I like Reverend Bradley,
Okay.
but Reverend Bradley had a nice home, and he sent his daughter off to college and everything. Um, but our home wasn't nice, and he driving new cars, and
Okay.
my dad driving old '56 Buick,
Mm.
and it didn't make no sense to me,
Okay.
and I guess that's why I don't spend no time buying cars for me. I get them for my followers. But anyway, I ain't even got no new house. but
Right.
the point is, I'm careful not to do things that turn me off with the preachers and the people. He come by and eat dinner and he
Mhm.
get the best pieces of the chicken and all
Mhm.
that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And you know, preachers were some powerful men when I was growing up.
Yes.
I mean, but anyway, I believed in God and
Okay.
understand, and I always showed respect for reverends.
Okay.
I just wasn't attracted to their teachings anymore. Once
Okay.
I became, in my late teens and my early 20s, I wasn't interested in going to church like my sisters and my brothers, my older brothers and sisters. They still go to church. They
Okay.
still Christians,
Okay.
and we interact with each other as much as we can. We just
Mhm.
don't discuss religion because they don't want to hear. They don't
Right.
subscribe to what I teach.
Okay.
They know I left that for they in a long time ago.
Right.
So I just treat them with courtesy and respect as
Mhm.
my siblings, and as I treat all people.
Right.
Uh, I can talk to anyone. I'm not a fanatic. I hate fanaticism. The fanaticism, and must define that.
Yes.
That's when you have your way, but you want to force your way on other people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can if even if I go to a place and people eating pig, I don't turn my nose up and all that kind of stuff. And they offer me some, I say, oh no, thank you.
Right.
I don't eat, uh, certain things. I have a certain diet that I follow.
Yes.
I can't eat swine.
Right.
But I could start teaching them and getting on their nerves.
Right.
I I just go on, and most of the time I'll just leave.
Okay.
You know, tell them that I have to go, whatnot.
Right.
And I tell people when they invite me places, I've even made that clear. Don't offer me anything to eat or drink
Mm-hmm.
unless I ask.
Okay.
That way no one get offended.
Right.
And so, anyway, um, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the one that changed me through his teachings. His teachings changed me from a Negro to a black man.
Okay.
And this is uh, something that the white man. I remember he even now some white officers, if they stop me, hey, I can't remember the last time I've been stopped, but they used to stop me when I was younger and see the name Muhammad on my license, and they'd get on a first name basis with me, Marvin.
Okay.
And they used to call me by their name when I was going in the slave name.
Right.
You know, they called me by that name, but when I took on the name Muhammad, all of a sudden, it's a first name basis now.
Right.
And I wasn't going to change my first name because I liked the meaning of it, and my mother and them gave it to me.
Right.
That wasn't from no slave master. My mother gave me that name. And so I kept the name Marvin.
Okay.
And but that we went from the black man in America that's now we walking around here black, and most of us don't know the origin of that. We have went through a series of births. We have been Negroes, which is grafted white people,
Okay.
and what I mean is the Negro is a copy, is a lesser copy of white people.
Mm.
That's why you look at Black Wall Street. They were black people carrying on and conducting themselves in business and everything like
Yes.
white people do.
Yes.
And they were the business owners. They were the upper class,
Mm-hmm.
and the black people in the community were lower class.
Yes.
And the two actually didn't have a lot in common. And and that's the way the white people's civilizations are. You
Mm-hmm.
have the upper, middle, and lower class. Now
Yes.
we didn't have no middle class. We didn't have no upper class. Not really. The upper class, they were so distant, which was the movie stars and all of those. They didn't. We didn't have no rubbing no elbows with them.
Right.
The middle class didn't even hardly rub elbows with them.
Right.
They was kept close to the white people
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that their wealth didn't benefit and that they didn't go back and try to help their people. That's what got Dr. Cosby in trouble. He
Mm-hmm.
was trying to come back and talk to our people about being frugal and not wasting money on vanity.
Right.
Need to have some designer tennis shoes, designer shoes, designer clothes, and all that. And he said, "You can't afford that. That's not." And they was mad at him. And then he really tore it when he started talking about. Even though he said he's not a Muslim, he said, but the black Muslims, he acknowledged that we were taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to build our own schools,
Mm-hmm.
teach our own children,
Mm-hmm.
protect our women and girls, and secure our community. And he said that we all should emulate the black Muslim. And that's what got him in trouble.
Okay.
And but the one thing about when you speak up for God's people, then you get God on your side. Now, all these people that came out against him, I told them what they was going to get. Now, that judge sitting up there done almost lost his mind.
Right.
And all the rest of y'all are going to that help lynch that brother.
Yeah.
You going to get what you got coming. And I'm telling you, you're going to get what you got coming.
Okay.
Because it's just wrong. But anyway, uh, if it pleases Allah, there's some decent people in this country.
Yeah.
That jury is proving that. That some people on that jury just ain't going to help do what they're trying to do.
Right.
And I appreciate them. And may Allah continue to bless them and keep them safe. And, if you get any threats, they can't hear. I know they're not listening. But anybody threaten you for doing right, you give me a call.
Right.
My number is 601-786-1332. Again, that's my cell phone.
Okay.
601-786-1332.
Right.
My landline is 601-786-9742. My landline is 601-786-9742. You give me a call. People threatening you for doing the right thing.
Right. Right.
So we ain't got to walk around here fearful no more.
Right.
That's part of being a black man too.
Right. Right.
So, Abraham didn't fear nobody but God.
Right.
We are Abraham's seed. We ain't got no business fearing nobody but God.
And if I can, son of man, let me just, if I
Yeah,
can just interject 1 second, if I can. I just
Yes.
need everyone to understand what just happened. And I know you offered your contact information so seamlessly, I think people really miss what just happened. Do you all understand what just happened? A national leader talking to us. Now, we're not just in Highland Park and Detroit. We're everywhere, okay? Gave you his cell number and his home line. Did you understand what that meant? When we start talking about being a man, this is how I look at it. I'm not a man, I'm a woman. Being a man, speaking up, leadership. The conversation was if something is happening to you, if someone is doing ill to you, Son of Man just said, give me a call. He didn't say, okay, look online and get the number to the New Nation of Islam's office and you call them or send us an email. He didn't say that. He just gave his personal cell phone and his landline. That is something to me. It should be something to you. How many times have you, and again, this is not bashing the church. I don't want everyone calling me and texting me, telling me, Collette, you keep bashing the church. But I can only speak from my experiences. I've been in the church when the pastor is standing down in the front and you have the armor bearers on the side and you can't even get to the pastor to even shake their hand to say good morning because they're blocked all in and all of this, whatever this is, for who they say they are. And you show, if you can't get a hello, you're definitely not going to get a telephone number, a personal number, a home line. For me, that's leadership. I just needed to say that, son of man, because I know you weren't thinking that when you offered it, but I needed us to really realize the importance of that moment.
Well, I remember the fire he was teaching us
Okay.
while the messenger was here. And I remember the messenger said to him, he said, brother, how can you say you will give your life for that which you will not give your time?
Okay.
And because the messenger taught us that our time is our life.
Yes.
Because as far as any of us know, every heartbeat is moving us closer to our last heartbeat.
Yes.
So when you're giving your time, you are giving your life.
Yes.
And so So I always remember that when I stand up in front of our people talking about I love my people. Well, how can you say you love people and they can't contact you if they want to?
Right. Right.
So if you call me, those are my numbers.
Right.
And I try to remind myself, no matter how big you get or how popular you are, you're just a human being,
Yes. Yes.
just like other human beings. And if you
Yes.
think that I mean to belittle the what we are, that's not what I say that for.
No.
I say that because in the eyes of us all, we all just look the same.
Yes.
Then we should not, just because we learn or have more knowledge or think we have more knowledge than each other, start looking down on each other.
Right.
No, we should recognize that whatever we are, when you look at the other human, the part of the human family
Yes.
that you came from, you know that whatever you are came from their genes.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's all one big gene pool.
Right.
And
Right.
whether we come from the deep end or the shallow end, it's the same gene pool.
That's right. That's right. That's
So
right.
uh, we should respect each other and try to look out for one another's well-being.
Yes. And son of man,
That is
if
the
I can,
greatest
while we're
way to
respecting
serve
each
God.
other, we got a call. So let's
It
go
is
to the
to
line,
serve
okay?
humanity.
Okay.
That is the best way.
Yes.
So I know probably right now I don't want to, I'm not old bro on. Uh, some of your callers may want to ask questions or
Yes, I was going to
whatnot.
say, let's go to the
If
line
you
because
want to,
they're
you can
lit.
bring them.
So let's see what the callers have to say. Let's see. Great morning to you. Thanks for your patience.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning. Yes.
Oh, okay. I missed his phone number. Can he repeat
Oh,
his phone number?
yes. Son of man, we have a request to repeat your phone numbers, please.
601
601
786
786
1332.
1332.
That's
Six
my
zero
cell
one
phone.
786 1332. Got
Yes.
it. I love the conversation. I definitely very, very impressed with the Son of Man because I believe he's an example of what he's talking about. And when you see someone that is executing and is an example of the words that come out of their mouth, then
Yes.
I believe that that's a powerful source of positive energy. And I just want to thank you for constantly bringing him on.
Oh, absolutely. It's our pleasure. It's our pleasure to
But,
have him. And thank you for
yeah,
your call.
thank you.
Thank you. Son of man, you know what? I need to ask you a question. You made a great point in chronicling your journey to manhood, and you stated that growing up, the men in the church, the pastors in the church, had a lot of influence and power.
Yes, ma'am.
And so where are we? And so I wonder, because again, this is just my perspective. I'm not a man, but that was a position. Being a pastor was a position of honor and authority in our communities. Like you said, we could be in families. I remember my grandparents, my grandmother, after church, if the pastor came to your house, you just thought that was just like Santa Claus was coming. And he got the best of the food, and you set him down at the head of the table, and all these things that they reverenced, these men who said that they had a calling from God. And so, historically, though, have we looked at that role and said, okay, has it become the black man's business of religion in saying, okay, because I was, and now, for example, I was riding down one of our streets, and I counted probably within a 10-mile radius, there were 50 churches. They call this particular street, they say it's the highway to heaven. And I counted 50 churches and hadn't even gotten to the expressway. And so that lets you know there were 5 and 6 churches on every block. And I just wonder, when we talk about the role of black men, or understanding black men, the examples of being a black man, Where does the pastor come in?
Well, now the pastor, most of them, religion is a business to them,
Okay.
and it's a quick buck. If you took all of the money out of religion, and
Yes.
people stopped paying pastors, all of them, maybe except a handful of them that, ignorant, but they mean well.
Yes.
Most of them would stop preaching
Right.
because it's all for a dollar. And you notice the new fad now is get with the preacher that tell you about how you gonna get rich, how you gonna get money
Right.
and stuff. They go to churches. Uh, some of them even telling people how to hit the numbers and all that old kind of foolishness.
Right. The
But
prosperity preaching. They call it the
understand something.
right.
If you ask any preacher, is he equal to Jesus? Have you ever met one that said he was equal to Jesus?
No.
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 Well, then, if you're not equal or greater than Jesus, how do you have the audacity to stand up saying that you are the one to come teach us after Jesus?
Ah. Ah.
That's what I say to all of the people. If I'm not the Son of Man, I ain't got no business standing up trying to teach the Word of God.
Okay.
Because that would say that if I'm standing up and saying I'm explaining to you what Jesus had to say,
Mhm.
how can a lesser, one who is less in knowledge
Yes.
and wisdom, explain the wisdom of one who is greater?
Right.
You cannot. And it is foolhardy for you to stand up and try.
Right. Right.
It's an insult, really.
It is. It
And
is.
so, I tell people all of the time, you can check me against, as the book says, the words of the prophets are subject to the prophets.
Right. Yes.
And if you are not one of them or their Lord, you got no business standing up to about you representing them.
Ah.
Because if we look for your name in the Bible or in the Holy Quran as somebody to come, they ain't prophesied of you.
Right. Right.
Except in a bad way. It says, beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing but are inwardly ravening wolves.
Yes. Yes.
So, I'm told all of you, you better quit playing, mocking God.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I'm not the Son of Man, then I need to be shot down
Okay.
for lying.
Right. Right. Yeah.
The Holy Quran says to invoke death if you are truthful.
Mm.
If I'm not the Son of Man, believe me, I don't know him.
Right.
I truly in my heart and with all my being believe that that's who I am.
Yes.
But the door is open for
Right.
anyone who can show me that I'm not. Because if I'm not, I certainly don't want to be a means of deceiving my people.
Yes.
I'd rather be dead
Right.
than to help make my people's condition worse.
Yeah. Yeah. So the man, we
That's
got a
something
call.
that I fear.
We got a call, son of man. Let's take the line and see. We want
Yes,
to get
ma'am.
everybody in because our time is dwindling down. Great morning to you. Thanks for your patience.
Collette,
Yes.
how you doing this morning?
Wonderful. How are you?
All right, to the Son of Man.
Okay.
You know, ecclesiastical corporate business
Okay.
has been big in our community because, in my estimation, it was the Catholic Church throwing those Negro preachers a bone after they colluded with them to keep our people ignorant. Now, that's just my opinion of my resolve.
Okay.
Everybody might not agree with me, but let me explain this to you. The fact that the church is an ecclesiastical corporation
Okay.
takes all of the wind of spirituality out of it. You put the spirituality in it, not the church. The church didn't do that. That was our romance and our love affair with the gospel. I was at a church that I helped build in the sense of education some weeks ago. And I love this church a lot because this is where I learned who I was
Okay.
in the gospel, per se. And I told the pastor, I said, what would black folks do if they woke up tomorrow and they said you couldn't go to church no more?
Ah.
What would the vast majority of us do? And he said we would go crazy and probably kill ourselves. I said exactly. Because we think without Christianity, without Islam, without Judaism, without all these religions, we have no God and we have no way. I contend that I got closer when I was left them all alone. African belief systems properly studied and properly administered is 10 times better than all of it. Than all of it. 10 times better. We didn't need Christianity. We didn't need none of it because we were already lovers of our brothers and sisters. We were already lovers of humanity.
Wait a
We
minute.
were already socialists. We were already that which they told us we wasn't.
Okay, so Son of Man, hold up. 6'4", hold on 1 second. Son of Man was trying to interject, and you all see this is how this happens. You all know I got 2 minutes, so we're gonna let Son of Man 6'4". Hold on, we're gonna let Son of Man comment, and then I'm wondering if Son of Man's gonna want to continue this conversation later on this afternoon. But Son of Man, please.
The trouble is this brother, he'll come in and wait until the end, and he never will. You know, I tell you what, brother, next Friday, why don't you come back on at the first part of her broadcast so that I can show you how wrong you are and how what you're doing is just wrong, brother. That's not correct what you was just saying. You come in here and then you try to justify it by saying, well, this is just my feeling. This is my opinion. Who cares about your or my personal opinion? If you don't believe in God, well then you want to call yourself a black man?
And if I can,
And you ain't never found black people that didn't believe some kind of way in some kind of God. That's throughout history. When the people came to the Americans here, they found a Native American, even though he's walking around in skins, the man had a belief in a great spirit.
and let me just say, I don't believe that. And if I can, I don't believe that 6'4" was saying that he didn't believe in God. 6'4", is that what you were saying?
That ain't nothing what I said. I don't know where the hell you came up with that one at. But with all due respect, I would say this. I respect everyone's perspective and where they come from with their knowledge. And I like to listen because I may be wrong in some things. I'm not infallible in my knowledge.
You're wrong in all of that you just said.
Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. 6'4", I need you to hold the line. What? 6'4".
Before Christianity, before Islam, before all of that crap, messed both of us up because, see, you talking to a person who don't believe what you say. So what you say don't matter.
Okay, look. You guys, hold on. Time out.
Awesome thing going.
You know what? Hold on. This is what we need to do. Time out. Okay? Our time for today is up. I want us to continue this conversation. 6'4", I want you to call. We're going to continue this the first part of next Friday. So at least we know what our subject matter is going to be. Son of Man, if you are going to continue this conversation later on tonight, you can let us know. We're definitely going to post how we can continue to engage in the conversation with you and the new nation of Islam. And that's what we're going to do. How's that?
Well, this brother, I would have said let's do it tonight, But I done did that before, and they never called up.
Okay, well,
So since he would rather do it in this forum, then when I come on next week, then he can come in here, and then I can show him how wrong he is for what he said. Come about before Islam. There ain't nothing before Islam.
well, stay right there, son of
You
man.
don't even know what Islam means. Obviously, if you knew what the term meant, you'd know that there is no before Islam.
And on that note, that's what we're going to discuss next Friday. Son of Man, we appreciate you always. See, that's what I'm talking about. We get these conversations going, and our time is up for today. But we appreciate you. We appreciate you giving your journey and your perspective on how you grew into being a black man. Can't wait to get into this detailed conversation about the origins and history of Islam and how it has now represented itself for how we look at it, what we think about versus what it actually is. Son of Man,
Well,
thank
I'm
you.
looking to it.
No, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You guys, our time is up. The first hour is up. You know, it's been great conversation, and that's what it's about. We want to be able to engage. 6-4, I want you to stay there. All the other callers, I want you all to hold on. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a break. Top of the hour, we're going to come back. We're going to wrap this up, and then we're going to get into further dialogue. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. If you want to make sure you stay in good conversation, you gotta tune in to Coffee and Conversation with Collette. That's me. Thursday mornings from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on the only station, WHBR TV 33. See you soon.